We're filming from the Precious Metals Summit in Beaver Creek in Colorado, and joining me today is my very first guest of the conference, Chen Lin, president of Lin Asset Management. Welcome to the show, Chen.
So glad to see you in person again.
Exactly. This is a wonderful experience. We're doing this finally in person and not over Zoom. You have a very interesting presentation. I want to talk about China first. China is obviously a very big market for not just precious metals, but also base metals. There's many reforms going on that you want to talk to us about that will affect the markets. First, you told me offline that China has banned paper trading for commercial and private investment purposes. Why do they do that?
Right. Basically, in China, they used to be in the bank account. You just click on that, you can buy gold.
Yeah.
It's paper gold. Okay, it's not real gold, but the bank will hold it for you. So, and you can trade 24 hours a day. So, and very convenient for people, investors to buy gold or silver. They can also buy platinum, buy palladium, buy other things, precious metal. And recently, the bank in China just banned that, just liquidation only. So they don't allow you to trade gold, at least so easily. You have to go to a store to buy a physical gold or something.
Trade any paper gold in China right now? You have to have a license, or what's
the? For the ordinary citizen, you cannot just buy from your banking account anymore.
Oh.
You can participate future market, but then you need a special permission and so on. It's a hurdle. It's just not so easy.
When did this happen?
In the past few months, early this year. So
it's interesting because China is also, well, nothing new, but China has in the past tried to ban Bitcoin trading. Recently, a couple months ago, they banned mining in their province. So do you think there's a relationship between banning alternative assets like Bitcoin and gold?
It's interesting, but I think the general theme is that China going to have a digital currency, their own currency come out. So they don't want any competition. Yeah. Like the paper gold could be competition for the currency, right? So that's one possibility. Another reason, the main reason I heard is for the risk management. The banks basically don't want to take on those kind of risks. So because what happened was the oil went to negative, right? A lot of investors, they lost their shirt when the oil went down so much. So the bank actually at the end, there was a big lawsuit in China. So the bank lost because they didn't warn the investor early enough that the oil could go negative. So.
Well, how big is the Chinese retail market for gold? Like, is this banning going to have a significant impact on the gold price, do you think?
Oh, it will be reduce a lot of participate. People who participate those especially in the bull market, you want to buy gold, they cannot buy so easily. So, and then China is the largest gold consumer in the world.
Right.
So that's things will slow down gold trading. For sure.
Well, let me ask you this, Chen. If you were in China right now and you were an investor and you used to trade gold from your bank account, now you can't do that anymore. You still have the money. What are you going to trade now instead? What's your alternative?
They can supposedly buy the Chinese stock. I don't know.
Well, Chinese stocks have not been doing well either.
Exactly. So I don't. Well, Chinese people have been piling money into real estate, and the real estate right now there is looking like a bubble going to bust. There's certain areas.
Are you talking about China or Vancouver?
Maybe Vancouver.
Okay.
So, but there's many cities. The apartment price started going down. Okay. So when you go down, then all the people who are overly leveraged could run into trouble.
Let's talk about the structural reforms that China is making right now. There's a lot of demographic changes. There's a lot of wealth distribution reforms they're making. As an investor, you're looking at this. Are you worried?
Yeah, if I'm in Chinese stock, I will be very worried. Fortunately, I've been telling my subscribers and my people go to conferences, I tell them for past 20 years not to buy Chinese stock. Actually, I really don't like Chinese stock because there's a lot of issues in those. So, but what happened in the past few months was China was trying to redistribute the wealth from the billionaire or millionaires to the little guy. Yeah, I don't know where they came from, the idea. Maybe they heard it from Elizabeth Warren. And so, but it's dramatic. It's dramatic. You look at a company like a WeChat, they have to donate. I don't know, they're forced or something. They have to donate billions of dollars just to support all these poor people, to reduce the poverty.
Well, I mean, would anybody be surprised? I mean, they're still a communist party. They're still have to respect the socialist communist ideals of wealth distribution, right?
That's a possibility. Another thing is China Xi is looking for his third term next year,
Yeah.
so he probably want to set up some grand scheme that this is part of his plan.
Yeah.
That's very possible, but it's very bad sentiment for all the CEOs, all the investors in China. So it could lead to a problem.
You told me that when China has in the past tried to redistribute wealth like this, civil war has happened.
Yes, they were in the Han Dynasty, one of the peak of the Chinese civilization when they have tried to redistribute.
Just for reference, when was the Han Dynasty?
It's about 2,000 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So when they try to redistribute, they try to have a huge structural reform. Actually, the empire collapsed. There was a two Han Dynasty. That was just the first one to collapse, run into the country went into a civil war. Of course, I don't want to see that to happen, but there are historical precedent. I'm not saying like what happened 2,000 years ago can happen now, but there is a very decent chance that China can slow down. Quite significantly. So we need to watch that as an investor.
Well, civil war or no civil war, investors may not like the idea of wealth distribution. Do you think they'll start moving capital outside the country? That's difficult in itself too, because China has very tight capital controls. So what do you think investors will do?
It's very tight capital control, and also China, the media has been talking about United States near bankruptcy, quote unquote. Yeah. So I don't know for the Chinese investors, they try to move money outside. They probably more distributed, move some in property, some in the different bond and stock in different sector. Right. But they're scared. Yeah, a lot of people are scared.
Okay, so let's talk about the gold market now. With China slowing down, what's going to happen to gold? What's going to happen to copper, other base metals in the future?
I think I would be first concerned is base metal. Look, China has 50% worldwide copper consumption. So if there's a significant slowdown in China, copper will be hit hard, and then a lot of commodity will be hit hard. So the commodity index will go down. That may drag gold down. Okay. So that's an issue. And then also China is the biggest consumer of gold in the world. Okay. That's another issue. If China tap into any slowdown or social unrest, the gold could go down. Remember 1990s when Asian country got into trouble, when Koreans were lining up to sell their gold, where gold was, right? Okay. So,
in November 2020, you recommended to your readers to sell gold, and then buy some other stocks, right? Tell us about that trade.
Oh yeah, that was when Pfizer vaccine first came out, 90% efficacy. I remember that was all come out over the weekend. So on Monday, first thing Monday I read is just, I think gold probably will come down. And then all the other stuff, movie, theater, hotel, cruise liner, probably will have significant upside. So why don't we just sell the gold producer, big GDX, and then we buy those. And then we write those out, and we wrote this for a few months, and I'm out of those already complete. But it was a good trade, we didn't get into AMC, but we got the Cinemax. So, but it was pretty good trade. So
you weren't a part of the Wall Street Bets group then.
I wish I were.
Well, we all wish we made some of those trades. But Chen, now how do you feel about gold? Since November, it's come down a lot. Do you think it's stabilized around current prices?
Yeah, gold is trying to find the bottom. If you look at the chart carefully, they bounce off the about 17, around that area a couple of times, maybe a little bit lower than that. Gold bears and trying to smash it, challenge it lower, even lower than that. Okay, there's a bears trying to hit the gold hard, but on the other hand, there's a lot of gold dealers in Asia, particularly in China. They're waiting for that moment. If they really sell it low, they got their bank line of credit ready, they can buy a lot of physical gold. So I think gold is getting very close to bottom. There are a lot of bearish sentiment in gold. So if once, like 2013, when taper announcement, that was the bottom of gold. So we are very close to tapering announcement in the next couple of months. So that could create the bottom for this year.
You don't think that what Jerome Powell said in Jackson Hole, where he said he wants to reduce bond asset purchases. Do you think that was not the real taper announcement yet?
The taper announced basically Fed open market meeting announced we're going to start tapering starting whatever month. That's if you look at the history, I have a chart.
Yeah.
On that announcement, that was the bottom of the gold in
Okay.
2013
Okay.
on the open FOMC meeting. So we're looking for FOMC meeting this month in September. It's very unlikely for them to announce anything. However, in November, December, they may announce tapering. So that could be an opportunity for us.
So let me just show you the 10-year yield chart. Okay, so in 2013, after the taper announcement was made, we had the taper tantrum. Stocks reacted negatively. The 10-year yield jumped from 1.7 to 2.9% in a very short amount of time. Do you think the same thing is going to happen now? With once they announce tapering, yields will spike up again?
I doubt. I seriously doubt. I think the yield, because there's still too much money in the system. There's a lot. You see the overnight repo, right? So the rate will go higher, but I doubt we'll have a very dramatic.
Yeah, it was a very dramatic rise back then. What was interesting to me, Chen, is that if you look at the gold price back in 2013, when the yield spiked, gold did not drop significantly. It kind of just stayed flat.
Yeah, because the buy all in the news, right? That was the end of that taper. It's got, you look at 2013, it go all the way down. When they announced tapering, yield spike, gold should drop. No, but that was the bottom.
It's interesting because usually there's a negative relationship when yields move in a very fast pace in one direction, gold moves in another. Now this time, if you don't think that rates are going to move dramatically, what's going to happen with gold when they announce tapering?
That's what I'm looking at very carefully. I think we have a decent chance to have a bottom of gold around the tapering, around that period. Okay. So just if we can keep around 1800, eventually the bears will quit. I think because we have so central bank buying, and then people are trying to diversify with the precious metal. So eventually, those the bear force will fade out.
So Chen, finally then, if I were an investor and I say, okay, I agree with your thesis that tapering will mean sometime gold will be bottoming, and I think that the Fed has to taper eventually, does that mean I should buy gold right now?
That's a very good question. So right now, it seems the gold is range bound. You can buy on a very bad day, which this morning was down very hard. Yeah. So actually, I bought some gold miners and producers, those GDX type of big gold mine. And if there's bounce back, I probably will sell. Just kind of wait and see. And kind of, you want to make sure the gold bottom, and then you go with the uptrend instead of putting money in right now to put too much portfolio at risk.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your thoughts. It's a pleasure. Thank you for being my first interview.
Okay, it's glad to be here.
Summit. And thank you for watching our show. We'll have much more coverage for you at the Precious Metals Summit in Beaver Creek.